Hi, this is Amber with Last Call Mamas. Thank you for coming back to my channel. This video is about postpartum depression or anxiety. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, but I really wanted to make sure that I shared my experience as adequately as possible, and I shared some facts regarding postpartum depression anxiety. It is something that 1 in 5 women experience, and the recovery process after childbirth is so significant that it affects you emotionally and physically, that postpartum depression anxiety can be so debilitating. And unfortunately, the fact of the matter is it leads a lot of women to hurt themselves or their children or both, if it is not taken seriously or addressed. It's still overwhelming for me to talk about, honestly, because that time was so depressing and overwhelming for me. Depressing in the way that I felt like I had made a bad mistake in having a baby, that my baby was really sick, that was going to have a lifetime of issues. And all of that was like paranoia, anxiety in my head that I was experiencing. And I was just such a low time. My body was out of whack. My mind was out of whack. I was not sleeping. I was not eating. It's all the things that come with motherhood, but then more. And I think if it wasn't for certain support factors in my life, I wouldn't be here today. So if you are somebody that has experienced depression in the past or anxiety in the past, you're at a little bit higher risk for postpartum depression or anxiety, or both. For me, my experience was more towards anxiety. And after giving birth, it was also, RSV was really big at that time. And so the advice from doctors was just like, don't take the baby out. There's no reason to. You need to stay home. And that isolation was even worse for me. I felt so alone and isolated and confined. It did not help my situation at all. So hindsight, I really needed my partner to support me and allow me and the baby flexibility to go out. Even though there was that risk, I just, that could have helped a little bit. I just feel like I couldn't also connect. I couldn't help my baby in those early weeks and months. I just felt like I had overestimated my abilities, that I was surviving. That's all I could do. And I was trying to figure out what the baby wants and needs, and I felt like I was missing the mark so many times. So that just further depleted my feelings of anxiety. He was born with a couple of birth abnormalities, nothing life-changing or unfixable, but it was just another thing that added stress to me. I just thought it would be better if I left, if I just drove away and I didn't return. And I just felt inadequate, and I felt like I was lied to by other women, because I had not heard of these experiences from other women to this degree. Or maybe I just wasn't listening because I wasn't a mother at that time, and it was something I couldn't relate to. But I feel like moms didn't talk enough about it, about what women go through. And so that was just another feeling of feeling betrayed in all of this life change that was so significant. And I think what helped, that there you can get help, but you have to keep talking about it. You can't feel ashamed or embarrassed. And if somebody makes you feel like that, stop talking to them. Go to somebody else. Um, what helped in my situation was my sister taking me out, my partner's mom being very understanding and non-judgmental and supportive. I'll never forget her for that. I'm very grateful for that. Me getting a counselor, it took many weeks, but I finally got a counselor, and doing yoga, listening to others, crying, talking about it, um, just believing that I was doing the best that I could and that I would get through this, and that this is hormones. I had to remind myself, this is hormones. This is going to balance back out. Um, that was, for me, what helped. But I just also want to say that the good thing about motherhood is that it challenges you to do old things differently. And that I know you may feel alone, but you're not alone. And just because you think something doesn't mean it is. That was a big one for me, because I had so much anxiety that there was something so significantly wrong with my son. Like, he had Down syndrome. There's so many markers for that when a child is born. He didn't have that, but in my mind, I couldn't get that out of my mind. And I just seriously thought that. It was so overwhelming. But the thing about motherhood is it's tough. It's all tough, but so are you. And you will get through this. And you carried the baby. You got here. You came this far. You will get through this. And you can get through so much. But get help. When you get help, don't feel embarrassed. Just get the help you need. I am pleading to you. I know what it feels like. It was horrible, horrible, horrible to be in the middle of it. I got through it. It didn't take months. It took probably a year, almost 2 years to get through it for me, where I'd still have moments where things came up. But I want to leave this video with also sharing the number for help. Postpartum Support International. The number is 1-800-944-4773. Again, that's 1-800-944-4773. Thank you, everybody. And you're strong. If you're going through this, you're not alone. Although I know you may feel alone, you're not alone.